So we were told to watch two videos, one about the earth being flat and the other about the earth not being flat. And this came down to globalization. And in both videos, they talk about, at one point or another, the outsourcing. And when I think about outsourcing, I think about all the people that are like, oh my God, we're losing jobs because all the jobs are going to China. And uh, nothing's made in America anymore because we're, we, we don't have anyone that can do it anymore. So I wanted to look at the effects of outsourcing. So when looking at the effects, you obviously have to look at the pros and the cons. And the outsourcing pros is that it cut cost. Um, it allows people to compete when labor would have been too expensive otherwise, which means that you have a lot more businesses starting and even succeeding. Um, Parts of the businesses now can be subcontracted out, such as customer service. Then you have to look at the cons, which is, some employees are no longer loyal to their employer because they're scared of losing their job due to outsourcing. Um, the same goes with, their customers. Um, a lot of them have had complaints when they contract out for customer service that, they call customer service and they're not talking to an American. They can't understand the other person on the phone because they're not talking to an American. They could be talking to someone from like Asia or India or the Philippines. And that makes a lot of customers lose trust in a company. And obviously, the biggest con to outsourcing is that it eliminates certain jobs. The big question while doing all this research was, is outsourcing bad? So, when I started researching it, I seen it from both angles. It is bad, but it wasn't. So, technically, from a business standpoint, outsourcing is a really good business strategy. It does cut costs, it allows new players into the game. But from the other side, the United States used to be a really big player in the global marketplace. And we still are a player, it's just we're not the superpower that we were. Whereas China now has kind of taken that over. And, if we wouldn't have given up being a major player, we wouldn't have had so many job losses. So, how many jobs are lost due to outsourcing? So, I couldn't find anything that said that, we technically lost jobs due to outsourcing. But I could find these statistics. So, 300,000 US jobs are outsourced each year. 66% of businesses in the US outsource at least one department. 37% of IT tasks are outsourced. Now, I found that one very interesting because I chose to go into IT. I didn't know we outsourced IT work at all. So I found that one really interesting. Some more statistics. 80% of the small businesses in the United States outsource some type of work. And then 128% of large businesses are more likely to outsource their work than a small business is. So the most common outsourced departments are actually accounting and IT. And then it goes to digital marketing, and then development, and even human resources, and obviously customer service. I thought customer service would be the first one. not accounting. So, what's the value of the global outsourcing? So, it is valued at more than 90 billion. 62 billion of that is generated through companies in the United States. Is that a good thing or bad thing? I can't say yes or no. I guess that's for you to decide. It is more than half, so that's a pretty big chunk. So I also had the question, we always hear how much we outsource to China, but it made me start, looking into who the United States really outsources to. So the top four are, China, the Philippines, Ukraine, and Vietnam. I also found a fun fact that China's outsourcing market grows by 30% each year. It's a really big growth. So while doing some research, I wanted to see, what people predicted for outsourcing. Is it going to continue to grow? Is it going to end? So a few actually predicted that places such as China and India that are paying such lower wages are actually going to have workers start to demand higher pay, just like they did in the United States, and this will be a ripple effect on the supply chain. It won't cause a dead end to outsourcing, but it will start to make things interesting, because as we see in America, when employees are asking for higher wages, you start spending money on things you originally were cutting costs on. So, if their predictions come true, I shouldn't say excited, but I think it will be interesting to watch. These are some of the sources that I used. One of them had a lot of statistics on them, which was really cool. The other one, was just a lot of information about the consequences of outsourcing. Thank you for watching. I am Tiana Mayer.